to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. So this morning I'm on the third day of watching Marco Polo, episodes 5 and 6. I've got one more to go tomorrow. And in today's episode, they finally reach the court of the mighty Kublai Khan. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. Today I wanted to talk about the writer of this episode, John Lucarotti. He wrote, in addition to this story, both The Aztecs and The Massacre. And I absolutely adore his writing. Not only did he write these episodes, but he actually wrote the Target novelization. So let me tell you why it is that 12-year-old me knew the name John Lucarotti. I've talked before about how I first discovered Doctor Who through the Pinnacle books that came to America in 1977-78, right around then. And there were initially 6 of those, and then I believe they did, I think, 3 or 4 others beyond it. And I loved those books. I read them to death, especially Day of the Daleks, Genesis of the Daleks, Revenge of the Cybermen, Loch Ness Monster. Great stuff. But at first, those dozen or so books were the only ones that were available to American readers. Not long after that, though, finally they started bringing over the actual Target novelizations in their original covers to the US. And I just ate those up. Over the course of several years, I read dozens and dozens of these novels. What you have to remember is back then, there was no such thing as home media. There were no videotapes. There were certainly no streaming video services. And on top of that, there was no television station running reruns of Doctor Who. It just did not exist. The best you could get was semi-current Doctor Who stories being run on a local PBS station. So these novels were the only way for kids like me to understand the history of Doctor Who and to revisit those old stories. Now, out of those dozens and dozens of novels that I read back then, aside from those first Pinnacle books that I listed off, there's only one that I can absolutely name that I read then and I know who the author is. The author, you will not be surprised to know, is John Lucarotti. The novel was The Aztecs, and I'll talk more about The Aztecs next week when I get to that. It's 2 stories ahead. But the thing that I just adored about this novel was it was so vivid, so colorful. John Lucarotti has the skill as an author to truly paint the picture of the era he's writing in. In the case of The Aztecs, it was so vivid, so colorful, so much so that when I eventually saw the story for the first time, I was almost disappointed because it was in black and white, and it just didn't pop the way I imagined. But then I saw the color pictures from the filming of that story, and it all made sense. And the same is true of Marco Polo. His novelization is vivid and lush and colorful and just amazing, amazing prose. In the case of this story, Lucarotti did extensive research into the journeys of Marco Polo and based the entire arc of this story over a particular path that Polo took. All of the settings, all of the locations, many of the events are based in reality, with just our characters thrown into the mix and along for the adventure. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I really kind of like this story. So anyway, that's it from me today. Tomorrow I will wrap up Marco Polo and we'll talk all about it. I'll see you then.